Hey guys, and welcome back to week 14 of Hand Technique Demystified. Today we're looking at even more interesting hybrids. I assume that you're on track with all the fancy and spicy hybrids we've discussed so far. Let's look at some more. Another very effective technique in traditional grip was developed by Bennink. You basically play a molar pumping motion with only one rebound stroke between the accents. But now you bring in more turn of your radius and ulna and make it more effective by making the accent stroke more powerful and even to the accents. So instead of doing just this, which would be this kind of movement, I'm now going really from here to there and back, like this. You can also open up your hand while doing this. So more closed would be like this, but then you can really open it up, like this. So you have to have the stability in here, and the rest can be pretty open. Once you get the movement going, you can open up. Given the evenness of the two strokes now, there sometimes or very often comes a point where I start to think of the inward stroke as the downbeat. So instead of thinking 1, 2, 1, 2, sometimes I'm thinking 1, 2, 1, 2. So outward or inward. You see? This is the accent now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that can change, you know. You made the bounce stroke more even by giving it this extra pull here. Again, as discussed before, the principle of the push-pull technique is to even out the accents and unaccented notes. You get even strokes. And therefore, you can think of the outward or the inward stroke as the accent. And that changes for me. You can also make this movement again smaller and eliminate the movement of your elbow by just turning here. So from here, leading more with the elbow, you can go smaller and end up here. And I mean, the elbow still moves a little bit. I think you will not really eliminate that. But it makes a difference if you think from up there, or if you think more of, you know, a fast wrist turn here in front. And again, you can also lead with your thumb here, but then again, told you this a million times, I'm not a heavy thumb user, so I wouldn't really use that as much, but you can also, you know, lead with your thumb a little bit, you know. So the technique stays the same, it's still from the elbow or from the radius ulna. But you can control it a little bit more with your thumb and maybe push or squeeze here and there to give it a little extra power. And this can be seen as a pre-form of last week's drop bounce technique, you know. You lead from here with the thumb, and then you get smaller and smaller until you end up here again. So this is the point where the Hand Bennink and the push-pull technique are connected. And as I've told you before, most hybrid techniques are connected in some way or another. It's always the same principle. And you just go bigger and smaller in terms of your muscle groups, but it ends up being the same thing anyways. So from here, you can lead with your thumb, and then you end up in the drop bounce technique. But you can also from here, you know, not go to your thumb and go more to your fingers. And you end up in the normal push-pull thing from last week, or in the drop bounce with the index finger, you know. You start here, Hand Bennink style with the elbow, you get smaller and smaller and smaller. You do more of a push-pull, and you do more of a drop bounce with the index finger. It's all connected. I mean, it's just going bigger and smaller, bigger and smaller. And that depends on the music. The music should dictate your movements here, you know. Is it a very small, soft volume situation? just want to get some grace notes or something, or do you want to get, you know, a really big fat sound? I mean, this is a big movement. Do this on a snare drum without a practice pad on it and it will be loud, you know. But then again, first thing you eliminate is the elbow, then you eliminate the radius and ulna, and you end up in a push-pull, drop-bounce thing again. Lead with your thumb a little more, and you might end up in the thumb drop-bounce variation. It's all connected. My teacher Vater Grassmann showed me this next effective hybrid to play 3 fast strokes in a row with my left hand. The first stroke is created by an inward whip of the elbow, radius and ulna and wrist. Straighten out your fingers here as with the push-pull technique. And the second stroke is a pull of your index finger. And the third stroke is a pull of your middle finger. So technically you're playing push, pull, pull now. Push, pull, pull. Push, pull, pull. You know, you push in and then you tap it with your index finger and then you tap it with your middle finger. So push, pull, pull. Very fast. Push, pull, pull. You know? So check the following exercise out. You're playing 3 strokes with the right cymbal technique I showed you last week. 1, 2, 3. Each one of those groupings followed by a tap of your left hand. So you're playing 16th notes. You're playing 4 16th notes. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Followed by an accent of your right hand, followed by 3 strokes with the Vater Grassmann technique of your left hand. You know this technique, push, pull, pull, and you add an accent of the right hand before that. And you combine it with the first bar, you know. Great exercise. That's it for this week, guys. Next week we will conclude this huge chapter of hybrid techniques by looking at even more variations and by starting to mix and combine them to play single stroke rolls. As always, thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already and ring the notification bell. Visit my website and I'll see you all again next Monday.